You're listening to The Blueprint with respected entrepreneur and journalist Brandon Armand. He's talking with other entrepreneurs, professionals, and community leaders about the hurdles they've encountered in their careers, the lessons they've learned, and their blueprint for success. And now, here's your host, Brandon Armand.
Hey guys, I'm Brandon Armand, and this is The Blueprint. We're sitting here talking to two young millennial entrepreneurs who are from New Orleans, David E. and Justin Semino. They are with Lavish Lemonade. Fellas, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, man. Thank you.
So, David, you are the CEO, the co-CEO, the co-founder of Lavish Lemonade. Tell us a little bit about Lavish Lemonade.
Well, Lavish Lemonade was discovered by me and my fiance, Brianne Ellis. It's something that we kind of started in the kitchen with, man. You know, we found the super herb, lavender, and we love lavender, and we love alkaline water. So we just figured out a way to make those two come together at one time. And once we did that, we kind of went to this small restaurant called Kush Cafe. We sold a lot of cups out of it, and we was like, well, man, look, let's see how it is to bottle this thing. So we bottled this thing and got to the next level.
Wow, that's a true one of those true entrepreneurial stories. It starts in the garage, or it starts in your kitchen, and then it builds from there. Now, you talked about the alkaline water. Your lemonade, one of the unique things about your product is that it's 100% natural.
100% natural, yes.
Tell us a little bit about it being 100% natural. What do you mean by that?
Well, 100% natural is basically that it tests at like about an 8.6 pH balance, which means that it's 100% alkaline. You know, alkaline usually has a test between 7.0 and 9.5. So we kind of balance in between lines, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, Justin, you are the account manager and you're the sales rep. So it's your job to make sure that everybody knows about Lavish Lemonade and make sure that it's getting into the hands of people and businesses. Tell me a little bit about that.
All right, well, with being the account manager, you know, I also handle with the concerns and whatnot that stores may have. Anything that they need, they have my direct line. I make sure that they have everything that they need when it comes from getting the merchandise in, and also making sure that their store is stocked upon whatever it is that they need. So I go out to different stores. I also speak with different owners of their stores, let them know about the fabulous Lavish, and from there, you know, we just do business.
Yeah. Both of y'all are from New Orleans.
Yes.
Born and raised from Algiers, the
Yes.
West Bank. Some people say it's the best bank.
The best bank. The best bank.
You know, growing up in New Orleans as young people, some people say that it's hard and it's a struggle to be successful in this city. But you guys have proven, and you're showing that that's not necessarily the case. It's just about how hard you work. There are some downfalls and struggles that you may have, but you definitely can be successful. You started Lavish Lemonade just last year in May of 2018.
Right, May of 2018.
And already you're in 32 locations around the city.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Well, honestly, it just starts with work. You know, you have to be willing to put forth the efforts and do what it takes, and you can't be scared to get out there and meet new people, talk to new people, dress how they dress. You know, and that's the objective, is to look apart. You know, that a lot of people are afraid to get into that type of world. You know, corporate world is way different from dealing with regular businesses. So once I stepped into the corporate lane, I actually did that with just me and Brianne from the beginning, and then Justin came along, and it was like, okay, so we have to figure out a way to take this thing to the next level. So we sat down, we wrote a plan out, and we just dominate our plan and stick to it. And every week, every day, I always tell Justin, you always have to be a week ahead at the time. Like if we talking about today, don't worry about today. Let's talk about next week.
You know, that leads into vision and having vision. How do you continue to prepare for the following week and months ahead of time when you got to focus on the now? How do you focus on the future and continue to focus on the now?
Well, basically, you know, what we do is we understand what's going on now, but we also understand what may happen in the future. So we kind of plan for the unexpected. So when you make them type of preparations for yourself, then you're like, okay, well, we already had planned for this. So with us being visionaries, we just go ahead on in and pretty much visualize with the problems that we may have, and from there we just go ahead on and fix the problems before the problem even much was to occur. Yeah. So we already have a solution pretty much for everything that we pretty much will face in the near future.
That's smart. I mean, if you don't prepare for it, then when it comes, then you're trying to shuffle back and then prepare from that point, rather than being proactive and not reactive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have a blueprint for success, and that's the biggest thing. If you don't have a blueprint for success, then you're not ready. You know, you want to be prepared at all times in all stages of life. You know, because you're gonna run into hurdles, and you're gonna run into things that you're just not gonna like, and you're just gonna have to eat it up and keep it moving. Because the moment you stop, the game stops, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there are so many other young entrepreneurs who are out here, and they look at your story and say, okay, man, you know, it's been less than a year, and you're in all of these locations, and you guys are doing well. And I know you're talking about the blueprint for success, and you know, planning in advance and doing all of these things, and I'm doing it, and it's just not happening. How did you get this success so quickly?
It takes a team. It takes a team. We can't take all the credit for ourselves. We have a team that actually helps us in the background. So at Lavish Lemonade, I do internships, and I do internships for students that want to be a part of business, you know, which is very important because I care about the kids. Soon we'll be launching a GoFundMe so we can kind of get a scholarship for one of these kids to graduate college. Wow. And that's what's important to me, putting kids in the face. Like, they're the millennials, you know, so they want to be in a front. So I want them to make them feel like they can.
Make them feel like they can. Giving back is what you're doing, and that's probably one of the reasons, I'm sure, besides your hard work, that you've been so successful. And then for them to see other young Black men like the two of you doing it, that just helps all the more. We're going to talk with you guys a little bit more about Lavish Lemonade and some of the struggles and hurdles that you've been through to get to where you are today. Guys, we're talking with David and Justin. They are with Lavish Lemonade, two New Orleans entrepreneurs being successful in our community. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Blueprint with Brandon Armand. We'll be right back. You're listening to a BAMM Network original. Welcome back to The Blueprint. Here's your host, Brandon Armand.
Hey guys, we are back with The Blueprint. We're talking with David and we're talking with Justin. They're with Lavish Lemonade, product here in New Orleans, and I'm pretty sure you guys aren't going to just stay in New Orleans. It's in New Orleans now, but there's aspirations to go nationwide.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I've talked to multiple distribution companies. I'm in talks with Whole Foods right now. I don't have a limit. Sky's the limit, you know. I want to go regional, then national, then worldwide. So that's the plan.
And you know what? You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to reach that plan probably sooner than what you expect. If you guys are just joining us, Lavish Lemonade started in May of 2018, and we're just in the beginning of 2019, and already you guys are in 32 locations in New Orleans. And so that's great. That's great.
Yes,
I mean, you know, that's a blessing. You don't find that in too many companies. I mean, there are companies who've been around for years and they haven't been able to achieve that success. But I know it hasn't been easy.
Nah, it hasn't.
For you. Even in this short amount of time, you know, sometimes people want what we call microwave blessings. They want it very quickly. And that doesn't always happen. Tell us a little bit about some of the struggles that you guys went through to, especially you, David, to get this company going.
The biggest thing, man, is I'm gonna say the biggest struggle is understanding funding. You know, people don't understand the concept of money. You know, and it isn't about just spend. You have to know when, where, and how to spend. And that's the most important thing when it comes to business. You have to make sure that your marketing is great. You have to make sure that people know who you are. You want to be in all of the small events so you can become a part of all of the big events.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People want to be able to skip steps. You can't skip steps.
Yeah.
You know, we started off doing little pop-up shops. You know, me and Justin would go set up in YouFit and give out drinks for free. You know, so that happens like that sometimes. A lot of people have to gravitate to giving, because when you give, you receive. And that's the most important part.
You know, Justin, you are the account manager and the sales rep. David is the owner and co-founder. You are part of his team, but you're a close part of his team. So I know you see some of the woes that he and his business partner may go through on a day-to-day basis as, you know, business owners. How do you help him to continue to be stronger and going through?
Well, basically, with my past experiences that I have shared in business as well, I mean, like, I look at it as pretty much hand in hand. I'm here for a reason. I'm here to help lift off some of the weight that he has so that he don't have to carry everything up on himself. So I make sure that whatever it is that he needs, I make sure that, okay, what can I do to help make the ride even more smoother so that he don't have to worry about it, so that I already know he has a whole lot on his plate. So if I could just take some of that off and let me go ahead on and deal with it, then it gives him time to worry about the bigger things that he needs to worry about.
And the fact that you see that and understand that, you're a blessing to him, and I'm pretty sure, I know that he appreciates that, because as he said, it takes a team, and that's why you guys are going to continue to be successful, and you're going to be blessed all the more for that as well. So keep doing what you're doing. Tell us, David, about one of the toughest moments in your career thus far in building Lavish Lemonade.
My toughest moment was probably understanding the concept of how to order inventory. Reason being is because they have levels to inventory, you know, and in the beginning stages, you know, you might start off with a few hundred bottles. So it's like, okay, I can order a few hundred bottles. But then when you go to the few thousand bottles, that's a different level of the game. So once you reach that level, it's like, okay, I have to figure out who to talk to. Now I need a broker, now I need a lawyer, now I need all these different things to be in place to even be able to discuss certain things with certain people, you know, so that was probably one of the biggest hurdles I have.
And how did you get over that hurdle?
Easy, we just figure it out.
But all right, so you figure it out, and that's a good thing, you know, because some people, they get to those hurdles, and instead of figuring it out, they just give up.
Yeah.
Right.
And they say, you know what, I can't do it, and throw their hands up, and then they go, you know, back to where they started. So you figure it out, but is there a process? Is there a step? Is there something that you do to figure it out?
So you just have to always follow your paper trail. And that's the most important part. Like, if somebody sends you a piece of paper, make sure you read it, you know, because they're not gonna tell you what's on it. So if you're not reading, then that's just all on you. So I do a lot of out-of-country exchange. So it's a little bit different than working here in the U.S., you know, so you have to make sure your paperwork is in line. You have to make sure you're talking to your vendors properly. You know, you want all of these things in place, and you want to have the people in place to handle these different things. Like I just said earlier, you want to make sure you have your brokers in line so they can handle everything, and you want to make sure that's a nice person just like you. So
and so that customer service, the processes and procedures, having that set in place. I graduated from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, which is a program to help entrepreneurs to be more successful. And one of the things that they talked to us about and taught us was to have processes and procedures in place so that everything can continue to flow in the way that it should, almost like an assembly line.
Right.
And so when you have that, that will help you as well, you know, to be successful and overcome some of those struggles and hurdles that you may have. Y'all, we got to pay some more bills. We got to go take a commercial break. We are talking with David and we're talking with Justin with Lavish Lemonade, two New Orleans young African-American entrepreneurs. We'll talk with them a little bit more, and I'm going to taste some of the lemonade. It's going to be my first time. I can't wait to do so.
You're listening to The Blueprint with Brandon Armand. We'll be right back. You're listening to a BAMM Network original. Welcome back to The Blueprint. Here's your host, Brandon Armand.
All right, guys, so we are back with The Blueprint. We're talking with David and Justin there with Lavish Lemonade. We've been talking with them just about their success, their blueprint for success. Started in May of 2018. We're at the beginning of 2019, and already they're in 32 locations around the city, and they're just continuing to grow at such a short amount of time. First of all, thank you. We're towards the end of this segment, but thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having us.
I have not had a chance to taste the lemonade. When we went to commercial break, one of our production crew members tasted the lemonade, and in the middle of our conversation, he was so intrigued by the lemonade, he rudely interrupted us and said, I got to get a case of this lemonade. So it must have been good for him to do so.
Yeah,
do y'all get that all the time?
All the time. We get that all the time, man.
And it's not just regular lemonade, it's actually good for you.
Yeah, it's great for you, actually. It has a whole lot of health benefits, man. Skin care, good for relaxations, like after a workout. What else, Jay?
It helps, it's a sleep aid. It has many health benefits. We can go on and on about
And sleep aid don't mean it's gonna put you to sleep. Cause
Okay.
a lot of people get like sleep aid, it's more like a relaxing thing. So it's, it gives you a chill vibe.
So pretty much what they're saying is don't listen to us and say, drink our lemonade and say I didn't go to sleep
Right.
from it. Yeah, it just helps you. Well, look, I'm about to try it right now. Y'all have had it, obviously. I hope you have. Y'all, this is good. This is good. Lavish Lemonade. If you're listening to us right now, it's Lavish Lemonade. I'm spelling it for y'all. Organic drinking, and it's really good.
Yeah, man, appreciate that.
It's really good, and it's always great to see young entrepreneurs, young people who are from New Orleans. We have so many people in our city who have come from New Orleans who are just so successful in what they're doing. Some are as famous as Louis Armstrong and Ellen DeGeneres, and some don't always get the recognition for the success that they're doing. But you guys fall into that category of successful people in New Orleans, and now as successful entrepreneurs.
I appreciate that.
Young and successful. David is 30 years old, and Justin, you are 26 years old, and just doing it. I'm a millennial as well. I made the cut, and so, man, just together we continue to work together. We're going to do some great and successful things in the city, in the country, and I see that shift happening and that change happening in our society with this generation.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody want to ever try Lavish Lemonade, they can always go to www.lavishlemonade.com, or they can follow us on Instagram at Lavish Lemonade.
I was waiting for you to put in that plug. I was waiting to see when it was going to happen, and that's Marketing Rule 101.
Yeah, man.
Marketing Rule 101. So for somebody who want to get it again, tell us again where you can get it.
That's www.lavishlemonade.com, or y'all can follow us on Instagram at Lavish Lemonade.
And they are in 32 locations around the city. So go on their website, find more information, follow them on social media as well. Let's continue to support them, make sure that they are successful, not just to support them, but also because it's good and it's healthy for you. So, David, thank you so much,
been a
man.
pleasure, my man.
Justin, thank you so much. And we can't wait to continue to see all the success that you guys have coming.
Definitely. And we do have a new flavor coming real soon, and we're going to let the people pick what it's going to be. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we can't wait. So, but we got to follow you on social media. To
Follow
see
us on social media. Check out our website. And around Mardi Gras time, we have people out doing some promotion.
Sounds good. All right. Well, y'all, we'll be right back.
You're listening to The Blueprint with Brandon Armand. We'll be right back. You're listening to a BAMM Network original. Welcome back to The Blueprint. Here's your host, Brandon Armand.
He's an entrepreneur, a music producer, and a philanthropist. And he's here with us on The Blueprint to talk about his blueprint for success. Dorian Francis. Dorian, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, B.
So tell us about who Dorian Francis is.
Man, Dorian Francis is just a ball of energy. That consists of love, passion, generosity, grit, and grind. You know, as far back as I can remember, you know, I've always been a very driven and determined individual. Like my grandmother told me when I was 4 years old, I used to sleep in bed with my finger on my temple, deep in the thought, like what I was thinking about, I don't know. You know, but like she would reference a lot when I was a kid and things that I would say, like she said I came to her when I was 5 and was like, I'm gonna be rich and I'm gonna take care of you. So it's like, I listen to some of those things now and think like, what were they exposing me to that had me thinking those things? But I went to a very cool nursery called Rita's Kitty Campus.
A cool nursery. I've never heard anybody say they went to a cool nursery.
Yeah, Rita's Kitty Campus. It was on, I think that's not Tonti Prayer Street. Well, Wilson Elementary is. It's actually right across the street from, it used to be where Wilson was.
Okay.
And I can remember that, you know, just, that's where my foundation started at. I can remember coming home at probably 3 years old, telling my grandmother I know would separate, you know, the north part of New Orleans from south, east, west, to Canal Street, the Mississippi River. And those were the things that they was teaching me at that at that nursery. So I guess, you know, just being grounded and having an institution like that was like very adamant about cultivating toddlers and little boys and girls is the start of Dorian Francis, as you know today.
And I mean, that's a great start. That at that age is where that foundation is being laid, and that foundation was put together obviously properly for you, because you have become successful in everything that you're doing, working with Essence Music Festival, working with producers and artists locally and nationally, representing Essence in South Africa. And we'll get into some of that stuff in a little bit, but you are a young black man from New Orleans. And there are a lot of people who say that, you know, young black men from New Orleans can't be successful. But you have defeated those odds or those stereotypes that people may believe. How are you able to do that?
Man, my grandmother my grandmother and my aunt. So it's like, I can talk about, you know, the foundation that I received in nursery, but there was also another part to that story. When my mom was pregnant, my dad went away to prison for like 7 years, and my mom got on drugs. So my sisters and I, we was dealing with the whole child protection situation where they was about to take custody of us. And that was the thing that my grandmother would do to get me straight. I never forget the my social worker, Miss BAMM, is white. We're gonna call them for you. So at that point, my grandmother, she could have very well allowed us to go into child protection's custody, in which me and my sisters would have been separated and probably never to be together again. But she, along with my aunt at the time, my aunt was 13 years old. She cried and, you know, told my grandmother, like, don't let them take my nieces and nephews. I'm gonna do what I have to do to make sure that, you know, you have the support to raise them. And my aunt, she missed her prime, you know. She missed a lot of things that the average or the typical adolescent would experience. You know, all of her excitement and all those different things were spent when she left school. She couldn't play with the kids because she had to leave and go to sewage and water board and pay the bills and all that kind of stuff to support my grandmother. So my aunt and my grandmother was extremely pivotal in my success and my foundation.
And that was key because, you know, from the neighborhood that you grew up in uptown New Orleans, you know, you were telling me earlier that you should have been worse off than where you are today.
Absolutely.
And you're not. I know that was part of your grandmother and your aunt. What else played a role in getting you to where you are today?
The guys in the community. Like, it was kind of like a gift and a curse, because like my mom's, she was in the street, my dad was in the street. So you have my dad, like, again, I say he left the street when he was
Like when my mom got pregnant when he was 17, he was a senior in high school. His senior in high school, he had all the credits to graduate, but instead of walking across the stage, he stood in front of a judge and was sentenced to 7 years, if I'm not, if I'm not mistaken. And just like my mom just going through, like going to visit him and trying to connect with him, and he's like, not only was he in prison, but my dad had started shooting heroin when he was 15. So you have a 17-year-old kid, heroin addict, girlfriend pregnant, sentenced to prison, time in prison, like that would have devastated me.
Yeah.
And the fact that today he still have his sanity, like he's my hero.
Yeah.
So when I look at those situations, those are the things that inspire me. Guys in the community that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, would encourage me, like, nah, man, you don't want to hang on the corner, go to school.
And thank God they did, and thank God that all of those people were instrumental for you, because it helped to bring you to where you are today, working with Essence, having your own label, Love Label, your own booking agency. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff when we come back from break and continue to talk with you. But we got to go to break right now, guys. We're talking with Dorian Francis, and this is The Blueprint with Brandon Armand.
What up?
You're listening to The Blueprint with Brandon Armand. We'll be right back. You're listening to a BAMM Network original. Welcome back to The Blueprint. Here's your host, Brandon Armand.
So we're back with The Blueprint with Dorian Francis. He is the creator of the Love Label. He has his own booking agency. He's worked with Essence and Jazz Fest and artists around the country doing big things. And he's right here in New Orleans and from New Orleans. Tell us a little bit. You talked to us before we went to break about, your background growing up on Louisiana Parkway in uptown New Orleans. And then take us to your most recent past. You started working for Jazz Fest.
Yeah.
And you still work with them today as a consultant.
Correct.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I started a promotion, my homeboy started a promotion company when he was about 19. We met working at the Hilton Riverside. My homeboy, shout out to Taki, Carlin, and all the Bakari. So they had a promotion company, and they, grew up in the East, and then until they went to St. Aug, Jesuit, Newman, all that stuff. I come up uptown, and I had exposure to a lot of different stuff uptown, So Slim, Mag Fiend, all of BG, all of us grew up like around each other. Yeah. So it was like, they invited me to invest into the company, and I ended up investing into the company, and that was my first official, introduction to business. And that led to me meeting a lot of cool guys, which led to me getting more in depth in promotion and production. Maybe about 2007, my homeboy Antoine, he go by the name of Fee, who cool with Lil Wayne. He and I produced the Louisiana Fest at the Lower State on Canal Street. So from start to finish, every day we run in. I and one of our other homeboys, put it together, and we had a ton of obstacles to overcome, but we end up seeing it through. And following that experience, I had interview with Enterprise, and then I interviewed with Jazz Fest. Enterprise was a permanent position. Jazz Fest was a three-month position, because that was like right after the storm, and I had finished from Loyola with my degree in marketing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna utilize my degree, moved to Houston, did a semester at U of H, was gonna do the MBA program, but I had property back at home, so was going back and forth. So it kind of like, I couldn't really stay grounded in school. So apply for Jazz Fest. So now I got to think, all right, Jazz Fest is a seasonal position, Enterprise is a permanent position. And Enterprise was like 3 or 4 interviews, and I could remember in the second interview, I told a guy that was interviewing me, I was like, hypothetically speaking, if you don't hire me, I'm gonna go to your competitor and take a lower salary. And then I'm gonna run the numbers up so high that the competitor is gonna be tripping trying to understand. Then I'm gonna have my general manager send their general manager a thank you letter, thanking them for not hiring me. He was like, I was like hypothetically speaking. He was like, I don't supposed to say this, but you're probably gonna get hired. So I had that opportunity. Jazz Fest. A friend of the family, Renee Ford, you know, had a meeting with Renee, told her how passionate I was about production. So Renee was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna sit down with you, and I'm gonna introduce you to, you know, the team, and you know, I'm putting my name on this, so don't disappoint me. Yeah. And Renee made the introduction. I ended up interviewing with the Jazz Fest. Shout out to Miss Christine White, Miss Christine and Liz Schoenberg. Interviewed me, and they were the two that, you know, made a decision that would bring me on board.
And what did you do for Jazz Fest?
I started off as the assistant artist packet coordinator.
And today you're consulting with them to.
Yeah. So basically, what I do is go throughout the city and scout talent. Okay. Talent that I feel would be suitable for the Jazz Fest format and program. And then make recommendations on guys that I think.
So you got people knocking on your door all the time, trying to artists.
Not really, because most of them don't know how to do it. Oh. You know, like I go to the jazz market and I go to like different places and I've been that they think I'm hanging.
Well, now you're on
but
the
I'm really
blueprint,
working.
So everybody's gonna know.
I'm gonna resign after the day, so nah, I'm joking. Yeah.
And everything else is history. From there, you go on to, you know, your own company that you have now, your booking agency, the Love Label, which we'll talk about in a little bit once we come back from break, and Artists in Action, where, you know, that's a space that you have for artists to support each other and advocate for each other. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but for now, guys, we're talking with Dorian Francis of the Love Label. He's here in the Blueprint, and we're going to talk with him a little bit more about his blueprint for success when we come back. Here?
That's me.
That's you.
Right.
You're listening to The Blueprint with Brandon Armand. We'll be right back. You're listening to a BAMM Network original. Welcome back to The Blueprint. Here's your host, Brandon Armand.
All right, y'all, we are back with The Blueprint. We're talking with the man himself, Mr. Dorian Francis. Now, I've told Dorian before, you know I am a Francis.
I'm not the man, he the man.
Well, I am the man.
I'm just a visitor.
we the men. We both men. But I'm a Francis as well by birth. My mom is a Francis. So, you know, we may be related somewhere down the line.
It's in the bloodline.
Look, man, tell me about your label, the Love Label. What's that all about?
The Love Label by Dorian Francis is a clothing line that was started to promote positive energy and promote love through fashion, and then give a foundation and a platform for young people to have jobs and opportunities in a field that they're passionate about. My history with young people go back like about 15 years. I worked at Job One as a youth job developer, so I actually had a curriculum that I developed that taught kids how to interview properly, how to do resumes, how to fill out job application, the significance of time, appearance, and attendance in the workplace. I ran 4 to 5 after-school programs teaching videography, photography, audio, engineering, production, all of those different things. So, in dealing with all of those young people, the one thing that they had in common was they were all passionate, and they all wanted money. The disconnect is the areas that they were passionate in wasn't providing opportunity for them to make money. Yeah. So they would end up having to take opportunities that they wasn't passionate about to make money, and it took up majority of their time, and it depleted the spirit of their passion.
So the Love Label helps them to find their passion and also find a way to make money with
Absolutely.
their passion, which is great, because we have so many of our young people who they either can't find their passion, or, as you said, they may know their passion, but they're going about the wrong way to try and make money from that. If people are interested in the Love Label, where can they get more information? I mean, you have your Love Label shirt on.
Yeah.
How can they get more information about that?
Right now, social media. I'm on Instagram at NOLA Experience, NOLA Experience with an X, and on Facebook, Dorian Francis. A lot of my stuff I posted on social media. I love to interact, how I can be interactive and constantly, upload things and drop things. We have a website that's developed, still doing some fine tuning, because when I go live with the website, 20% of all of my proceeds that come in is going to be going back to youth initiative. Like,
what I like about you, you're giving 20% of the proceeds back to the youth initiative, and what I keep hearing is giving back to the youth. Giving back to the youth, giving back to the youth, and that's important. And I'm pretty sure that that's one of the reasons for your success and the success that you have achieved. But tell me, what else for you do you think is the blueprint for success?
The Love Label formula is focus plus consistency minus distractions equals destiny.
I love that. Can you say that one more time?
Focus plus consistency minus distractions equals destiny. And it's simple. Plant a seed, water it, consistently reap a harvest. It's simple. Purchase a shirt. When you sell that shirt, don't take the money that you purchased the shirt and buy another one in the profit and spend it, because then you're on a treadmill. You purchase a shirt, you sell that shirt, you make the money, you buy 2 more shirts, you make the money, you buy 4 shirts, and then you start negotiating for cheaper prices, and then you start buying your own equipment. Focus plus consistency. The distractions come into play when you start taking your profit and spending it on candy and snacks and clothes, and then you're just going through a revolving door on a treadmill. Yeah. So I always encourage the young people, like, if you're gonna start off, understand the concept of a seed. You know what I mean? You're not planting it today and tomorrow digging it up to take a piece of it because you want to do something else with it. Nah, you're allowing it to mature.
And in that maturity, you have to be patient.
Absolutely.
Patient,
Absolutely.
And that's sometimes the hardest part, especially for young people and from millennials all the way down. We're used to this give it to me now.
Instant gratification. Like I tell the young people all the time, hey man, listen, that same little science experiment that we had, take this the little styrofoam cup, fill it with soil, put the bean seed in it, sit it on a windowsill. You put in something where you can't see it, expecting something to come from nothing. How do you expect me to put something away where I can't see it and expect something to come from it? Yeah. That's idiotic. Yeah. But it's a proven formula.
We go to the same church, New Home Ministries.
Shout out to Pastor.
Shout out to Pastor Sam, Pastor Bob, Blake.
Love y'all, brothers.
But one of the things that our pastor always says, Pastor Sam, is that it's always better when it comes out of the oven than out of the microwave. Absolutely. And to do that, as you said, you have to be patient, but you have to be focused as well. And when you continue to do those things, you're going to see success. And I'm pretty sure that that's why you've seen the success that you have seen coming up in New Orleans, uptown New Orleans. As you said before, you don't meet the statistics. You should be dead. You should be in jail. From what everyone says, from where you grew up, but you continue to be patient, continue to be consistent, and that's why you've done the things that you've done in working with Essence and working with Jazz Fest and continuing to do so and working with all of these artists and developers.
And even traveling abroad. Like, I've been to Africa twice, been to Brazil, been a couple other spots, and, not only just going, like I delivered a keynote address at the Essence Fest at an artist workshop, and the next day my homeboy, like, check your email. I'm like, dude, I'm asleep. Man, check your email. I checked my email finally. They wrote a full article about my keynote address. And, ironically, one of the lady, Miss Connie was she was the moderator. She also played in a Black Panther movie. And we were talking about that when we was in the hotel, and I didn't really know much about the movie because that was October before the movie came out. Yeah. But Miss Connie just kept saying, man, young man, your story is just so powerful. Yeah. I hope you know. And, to see someone achieve what they achieved and her see, that talent in me, it's just amazing.
And it is amazing. A lot of young people need to know that and see that story. So, man, Dorian, unfortunately, we are out of time. Got so much more that we can talk about, so we got to have you come back on the show.
We need to create a segment for me called Doe Knows.
Doe Knows?
Yeah, Doe Knows.
Doe Knows. I like that.
Knows. What does Doe know? Doe know everything. Nah, I'm joking. But I'm not joking. I don't know everything, but the Doe Knows thing would be cool.
Doe Knows. Look, that may be another show coming soon, and I believe you got a lot to say, and that you can fill the entire time. But man, we got to go. The Blueprint.
Baby.
With Brandon Armand. Dorian Francis.
This has been a BAMM Network production, produced by BAMM Communications. For other BAMM Network shows, visit www.bammcommunications.com.